Hello and welcome live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy, and coming up in the next 30 minutes. The Election Commission of India announces the 5th of February as the date of polling for the National Capital Delhi's 70 Assembly seats, counting to be held on the 8th. Death toll in the 7.1 magnitude quake in Tibet climbs to 95. Several places in Nepal, Bhutan and India also feel the powerful jolts. Canadian Prime Minister announces decision to quit amidst falling popularity and support within his own party. Trudeau will remain caretaker PM till his successor is chosen. And France marks 10 years of Charlie Hebdo attack. Indestructible satirical prints issue with fallen illustrators at heart. Well, first up, voting for all 70 seats of Delhi will be held in a single phase on the 5th of February. Chief Election Commissioner Rajiv Kumar said on Tuesday that votes will be counted on the 8th of the same month.
So this is the schedule. We will start, it's a single phase election. Date of notification will be 10th of January, Friday. Last date of making nomination will be 17th of January. Scrutiny on 18th of January, withdrawal 20th. These are the statutory periods of time which is given. Date of poll is 5th and counting is 8th, and 5th again we have very deliberately kept Wednesday. Entire election process after counting will be complete by 10th.
The Chief Election Commissioner also highlighted that Delhi has over 1.5 crore, that's over 15 million voters, which includes approximately 84,000 male, 72,000 female and 1,300 third gender voters.
There are 1.55 crore voters as per the electoral rolls declared yesterday by the CEO. 83.49 lakhs male and 71.74 female. Young voters are also 25.89. First time voters are 2.08 lakhs. This is what we are trying everywhere to get new voters. If we look at the PWD voters, there are 830 centenarian voters also. We have worked on transgender voters. We want them to please come and join us. There are 1.0985 plus voters.
Let me now take you across to DD India's Anil Thomas for more on this. Anil, good evening. Now, Delhi is a much-watched contest with a lot of controversy also swirling around voters' list, and elections being conducted. Has all speculation been put to rest today by the Chief Election Commissioner?
Well, good evening, Gautam. Well, that's been the highlight of the final press conference that the Chief Election Commissioner Rajiv Kumar has addressed the media. He's laid threadbare every finger that's been pointed towards the Election Commission when it comes to the electoral process. He said electoral process is a 70-step process right from the electoral roll that's made to the counting of votes that takes place. He said it's not very easy to delete voters as claimed by the opposition and the media. He said for a deletion of voters' name from the list, if the list exceeds almost 2% of a particular seat, then it needs to be revalued and rechecked by the BLOs there. So it's not very possible, or it's not very easy to remove or to get these names deleted from the voters list. Secondly, he's talked about how election numbers or the polling numbers that swell up post 6 o'clock, where once again fingers were being raised at the Election Commission. He said at every stage, right from the polling phase or the election phase that begins 7 to 8 days prior to that, right from the EVMs to the mock test, everything is before all the returning officers. It's there before all the polling agents of all the political parties. At every stage they are given an opportunity to test the machines. And once that's done, that's when the election process takes place. So he said, and this time and again confusions being created in the minds of the people, especially before elections elections that come up. It started in 2024. We have seen two variations or two peaks of, a lot of controversies being created around Haryana and Maharashtra elections. He said all this need to be put to rest for the simple reason EVM is foolproof. One. Secondly, over 42 times, the Supreme Court has time and again told that EVM is not hackable, it's safe, and Election Commission does a good job conducting elections. So there is no point in raising these questions every time a state or a union territory is ready to go to polls. So the Election Commission, Chief Election Commissioner, this is his final elections. He's completed a full cycle. He started in 2020 with the Bihar elections, and this particular elections will be his final one. He's once again, clarified and put all doubts to rest when it comes to the election process and all that goes behind it, especially the doubts that have been raised by many people in the media and also by the political parties.
All right, Anil, thank you so much for joining us from the newsroom. Now, the 18th edition of the Pravasi Bharati Divas will be held in the coastal state of Odisha in the east. The flagship event provides an important platform to connect and engage with the Indian diaspora and enable them to interact with each other.
The Pravasi Bharatiya Divas convention is being organized for the first time in the state of Odisha, which is famous for its rich historical, cultural and spiritual heritage. The 18th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas convention will be formally inaugurated by the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi ji, on 9th of January. Her Excellency Christian Carla Kangalu, ORTT, the President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, will be the chief guest of the 18th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, and she would be virtually addressing the convention.
And India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Shankar is also in Bhubaneswar to participate in this year's Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. The minister visited the Sun Temple in Konark today, and speaking to the media, the minister said that the state of Odisha is all set to hold the event, which will be attended by the President and the country's Prime Minister.
तो अगले कुछ दिन तो आप जानते हैं कि प्रवासी भारतीय दिवस होगा, पहली बार उड़ीसा में होगा, और मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि उसके लिए जो भी हमारी ओर से प्रयास होनी चाहिए, जो तैयारी होनी चाहिए, हमारे माननीय मुख्यमंत्री और उड़ीसा के शासन ने बहुत अपनी ओर से बहुत कोशिश की है, बहुत ध्यान दिया है। आप जानते हैं कि इस अवसर पर राष्ट्रपति जी भी आएंगी, प्रधानमंत्री जी भी आएंगे, तो ये एक किस्म से उड़ीसा के लिए शोकेस करने का अवसर भी है कि दुनिया के मैप में उड़ीसा को पूरा कैसे केंद्रित करें।
Let me now take you across straight to Bhubaneswar to my colleague Amritpal Singh, who will be covering the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas for us, all the events building up to even the plenaries that will take place. Amrit, just tell us what all has been lined up for this Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. How many people will get the samman, the honour, which will be given out by the President herself, and how many people are really gathering from different parts of the world? 35.4 million Indian diaspora the world over, included NRIs as well as PIOs.
That's right. About 35.4 million people have already registered. Odisha is expecting them, most of the people, to turn up, and that's why this, the state of Odisha, not just Bhubaneswar, which is the venue of this conference, but other places in Odisha have been decked up for the participants and the diaspora who's coming here to come and visit. Now this kicks off. It's a 3-day event. It kicks off tomorrow. The first day is the Youth Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, which will be jointly inaugurated by External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and Dr. Mansukh Mandavia, who is the Minister of Sports and Youth Affairs. So they're essentially looking at tapping the potential of the youth of the diaspora, because youth the world over are leading, in terms of their vision in technology, using technology, their energy, their enthusiasm, and a lot of youth amongst the diaspora are turning to India because they see it as a investment opportunity, not just a connect of emotions, but you're taking it beyond being a part of the opportunity that India offers as it tries and become a developed nation by 2047. And that is the theme of this year, to make the diaspora stakeholders in that. And so youth remains an important component. A day after, as the Secretary was saying, the Prime Minister travels to Bhubaneswar to inaugurate the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. The inauguration ceremony will be held by the inauguration will be done by the Prime Minister. He'll be visiting 4 exhibitions on various themes, including Ramayana, making diaspora a connect in India's development story, how the Gujarati community from Mandvi has been able to connect. One exhibition is that, and there are cultural exhibitions by the Odisha government. So the Prime Minister shall be visiting those and inaugurating those 4 exhibitions. Also, the Prime Minister shall be remotely flagging off a train called the Pravasi Bharatiya Express, which is basically a train that will take the diaspora on a 3-week visit or Doordarshan at various religious sites in India across the length and breadth of the country. So that will be the highlight. As you said, on the 10th, the President, during the valedictory session, will be giving away the Pravasi Bharatiya Samman Awards, 24 recipients this time around. Essentially honoring them for the kind of work they've done, not just in their own respective fields abroad, but how they've been able to involve India in their endeavors. So that it is a recognition of the Indian diaspora that will take place. Gautam.
Certainly, and we'll all look forward to it. Thanks for joining us for the moment. Amitpal Singh from Bhubaneswar. Now, South Korea's Corruption Investigation Agency has said on Tuesday that the court has reissued a warrant to arrest impeached President Yoon Suk Yeol, whose failed martial law bid threw the country into turmoil. Investigators seeking to question him on allegations of insurrection have struggled to execute the warrant for his arrest. Yoon has refused questioning 3 times and is holed up in his residence surrounded by hundreds of guards, preventing his arrest. Yoon's lawyers repeatedly said the initial warrant was unlawful and illegal, pledging to take further legal action against it. After 9 years in power, Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced his resignation on Monday. However, he will remain in position as Prime Minister and Liberal Party head until the party chooses a new leader to take it into the next election. Trudeau said the party's infighting has meant he is not the right leader anymore.
Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced his resignation on Monday, saying he would leave office as soon as his party chooses a new leader, with slumping polls and internal division taking their toll. After more than 9 years in power, Trudeau's support within the ruling Liberal Party began crumbling in 2024 due to intensifying public criticism focused on the rising cost of living. A subdued Trudeau told a press conference that he would stay as the Prime Minister until the party chooses a new chief.
I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the President of the Liberal Party to begin that process.
His authority was then shaken by the surprise departure last month of his Finance Minister and Deputy Prime Minister, Chrystia Freeland. Across the country, Trudeau's resignation did not surprise. Trudeau's Liberals are trailing badly in the polls to the opposition Conservatives.
This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election.
Trudeau took office in November 2015 with a message of hope and sunny ways and won re-election twice. But his popularity started dipping 2 years ago as prices of groceries and housing rose in the post-COVID period and his fortunes never recovered. Canadian media have tipped Freeland as a possible Liberal leader. Trudeau has received permission from Canada's Governor General to suspend all parliamentary business until March 24. That could give the Liberals time to choose a new leader while restricting the opposition's chances to bring a vote of no confidence. Bureau Report, DD India.
And France is marking 10 years since 12 people were killed in an attack on the office of satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo in Paris. French President Emmanuel Macron laid a wreath to commemorate the victims, including 11 Charlie Hebdo employees. Armed with guns, two brothers stormed the magazine's office in Paris on the 7th of January in 2015. In the following days, a third attacker killed a female police officer and 4 Jewish hostages in a Paris suburb. And Charlie Hebdo itself released a special edition on the attack's anniversary. The cover shows a man sitting on the muzzle of a gun with the caption, "Indestructible." Charlie Hebdo has courted controversy over its cartoons in the past as well and continues to do so.
I think it is still present among the people who were there that day, because these are physical sensations that cannot be get rid of. It's something that is part of our lives, and we cannot erase that moment in our lives.
And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. Israeli Foreign Ministry official says Hamas is the only obstacle to release of hostages. Damascus airport resumes operating international flights after a gap of almost 13 years after the fall of the Assad regime in Syria. Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, a massive 7.1 magnitude earthquake struck a Nepal-Tibet border early on Tuesday, killing at least 95 people and injuring 130 others, with tremors felt in some parts of India and Bangladesh as well. The quake's epicenter was located approximately 91 kilometers from Labuche in Nepal, and it was followed by numerous aftershocks with magnitudes of up to 4.4. An earthquake of this magnitude is considered strong and is capable of causing severe damage. Emergency response teams in Nepal and India are on high alert to assess the impact of the quake. Officials are closely monitoring the situation and have urged citizens to remain calm and prepared for possible aftershocks. Israel has said that they are fully committed to reach an agreement to return hostages from Gaza, but are facing obstruction from Hamas. Earlier, Israel indicated that there is no clarification from Hamas whether 34 hostages who were ready to be freed were dead or alive, throwing doubt on the group's assertion that it needed time to ascertain their fate. Mediators from Qatar, Egypt and the United States have been working for months to strike a deal to end the fighting in Gaza, but both warring sides have accused the other of derailing negotiations. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has said on Monday that the end of Kurdish fighters in Syria was coming closer and added that there was no room for terror in Syria's future after the ousting of Bashar al-Assad last month. Meanwhile, Damascus airport has resumed operating international flights.
The nation is trying to build a Syria based on the territorial integrity and unity of the country, and that it is determined to do so. Our sincere desire, expectation and policy are in this direction. We will not consent to the disintegration of Syria or the disruption of its unitary structure under any guise. If we see a risk in this regard, we will take the necessary steps quickly.
Meanwhile, Damascus airport has resumed operating international flights. After a gap of almost 13 years, the first Qatari commercial flight landed in Damascus. In a startling disclosure, the United Nations Rights Chief has revealed on Tuesday that Iran executed over 900 individuals last year, with a staggering 40 executions taking place in a single week in December. The UN Rights Chief has called on Iranian authorities to immediately cease all further executions and to implement a moratorium on the death penalty, with the ultimate goal of abolishing it entirely. Iran employs capital punishment for severe crimes, including murders, drug trafficking, rapes and sexual assaults. Let's now take a look at some other stories making news around the world. A newly released white paper exploring artificial intelligence adoption in the Middle East reveals that nearly half of UAE companies are utilizing advanced language models in their operations now. The survey, which drew 53.25% of its respondents from the UAE, highlights the Emirates' leading role in regional AI adoption. Creating and sharing sexually explicit deepfakes will become a criminal offence in Britain, the government said on Tuesday. This initiative aims to tackle a surge in the proliferation of such images, mainly targeting women and girls. Deepfakes are pictures and videos generated or edited using artificial intelligence featuring real people. Hundreds of people celebrated the final day of the traditional Blacks and Whites Carnival parade in southern Colombia's Pasto. In 2009, the carnival was also proclaimed by UNESCO as intangible cultural heritage. And it's time now for some sporting updates. Well, India's Sports Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia chaired the first meeting of Mission Olympic Cell of the year 2025 in New Delhi on Tuesday. Several important decisions, such as inclusion of key sports bodies under the Mission Olympic Cell, were taken. This aims to nurture young talent from grassroots level, which would compete in the Olympics as well as other international competitions.
The first meeting of Mission Olympic Cell of the year 2025 took place in New Delhi on Tuesday. The meeting was chaired by Union Sports Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia, along with stakeholders from the sports industry, including celebrated badminton coach Pullela Gopichand, Gagan Narang, IOC Vice President, and other sports dignitaries. The meeting took several important decisions along with the inclusion of JSW, Reliance Foundation, Sports Petroleum Board and Railway Sports Promotion Board under the wings of Mission Olympic Cell, with an aim to nurture young talent from grassroots level.
2028 के ओलंपिक्स की तैयारी हमने अभी से चालू कर दिया है। आज मिशन ओलंपिक सेल की प्रथम मीटिंग हुई। सभी देश के स्पोर्ट्स में जाने माने लोग इस कमेटी में प्रतिनिधित्व कर रहे हैं। आने वाले दिनों में टैलेंट को आइडेंटिफाई करके उसका नर्चर कैसे करना और नर्चर करके टॉप के तहत उसको नेशनल और इंटरनेशनल प्लेटफॉर्म पर एक्सपोजर देके ओलंपिक्स और इंटरनेशनल चैम्पियनशिप में हमारे एथलीट सफल रहे, इस विषय पर डिटेल्ड डिस्कशन हुआ।
Speaking on the occasion, the minister said that the meeting has been fruitful and they are now eyeing LA Olympics 2028. Indian Olympic Association's Vice President Gagan Narang said that they pondered over India's performance at recently concluded Paris Olympics and now are completely focused on LA Olympics 2028, for which constructive discussion has taken place.
Well, I think the meeting was very progressive and productive. I think a lot of points for the development of sport from grassroots till the elite were discussed. The drawbacks that the Paris cycle had were discussed as well, and how we would go forward to implement and make the systems much better in the 2028 LA cycle were also discussed.
India is upbeat about its participation at LA Olympics 2028 and positive about its bid to host 2036 Olympics, for which the government is leaving no stone unturned. Deepika Mehto's report for DD India.
A group of British politicians has urged England to boycott their ICC Champions Trophy cricket match against Afghanistan next month. A letter signed by more than 160 MPs on Monday called for England's players and officials to speak out against the treatment of women and girls in Afghanistan. The politicians want the England and Wales Cricket Board to take a stand against the Taliban's regime, assault on women's rights and refusal to play the men's ODI against Afghanistan in Lahore, Pakistan, scheduled for the 26th of February. But there are reports that the ECB has rejected this call. And India's Anahat Singh defeated Malika Elkaraksi of Egypt to clinch the women's under-17 title at the British Junior Open Squash Tournament in Birmingham. 16-year-old Indian squash pair rallied to beat Elkaraksi 3-2. This is Anahat's third British Junior Open title. She also won in 2019 and 2023. The win extends Anahat's remarkable winning streak into the new year. She won 9 Professional Squash Association Challenger titles last year, more than any other girl. And that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS. You can scan the QR code on the screen and download the app right away. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.